What do I expect on the Iron Butt Challenge? I'm Andrew, I'm the Flannel Philosopher. As I've mentioned, I'm planning on doing a 1,000-mile motorcycle ride from Maine to South Carolina. I've discussed some of the reasons and the thinking behind that in other places. I am planning on doing it in March, which in New England should be cool, if not cold. Down south, it should actually be fairly warm or decent temperature. So it's probably not the ideal time frame to do it, but I have other reasons for doing it this time that I discussed in other videos. But what do I expect doing this? Now, I am very familiar with the route that I'll be taking. So the route itself, I haven't driven it recently, but it's a route that I've driven dozens of times. So I'm fairly familiar with the map and how to get there and the route that I'll be taking. I've chosen this route for a particular reason. It's going to be largely highway. I didn't know what to expect from a lot of, I've never done an Iron Butt Challenge, so I didn't know what to expect. So one of the things I've done is I've watched other YouTube videos, and much appreciation. I don't remember all the content creators, but I'm grateful for all those that recorded their journeys to try to get an understanding of what to expect. Many of them actually start off early in the morning, which is what I'm planning on doing. There's a couple that choose to do it later in the day. Seems like almost inevitably, like the last 100 miles just seems like it's a mental and physical challenge. And so I think I'm kind of expecting that. I think I'm expecting the morning to be somewhat, it's gonna be dark out, it's gonna be kind of cold, but I don't think that alertness should be a problem. Once the sun comes up, as long as the sun does come up and it's not pouring rain, I think it should be a really fun journey kind of through areas that I've been through before, but haven't been through in a very long time, at least not driving them. So that's the thing, I'm excited about that. And then I do kind of expect that last bit of the journey to be one that's just challenging, you know, physically tired, mentally tired. And I think that will be, you know, you want to stay safe obviously while doing that. So I expect that to be a little bit of a journey. I'm also a fairly impatient traveler, I think my wife would say. And so one of the things that I expect is all the stops to be annoyingly long. And so I think it's going to be a challenge for me to kind of take the time to make sure you're eating, getting hydrated. I do intend to apply for the official Iron Butt Association, so you have to take pictures of your receipts and the odometer on your bike, so you're tracking, they can verify where you're going. And particularly wearing winter gear, I think that's going to be more of a time-consuming piece that's going to be really frustrating for me, because it's probably going to take 10 to 20 minutes per stop, and that's probably going to be really frustrating for me. I bought the bike that I have on purpose because it has a massive fuel tank, and I can usually go about 350 miles without stopping. So I intend to stretch the early stops kind of as much as I can so that I'm able to kind of get out of winter gear as I'm going, which I think should speed up the stops, but we'll kind of have to see how that plays out. I'm hoping, the bike is a newer bike and I've stayed on top of maintenance, so I'm hoping to not have any bike issues. I do have a toolkit on board, some repair pieces, so, you know, fingers crossed on that side of things. I'm truly hopeful that I won't have any issues on the bike side of things, but I do have some preparation just in case something does happen. I can handle any minor difficulties. I was on a trip 2 years ago and just the vibrations broke some fairings, and with some duct tape and zip ties, we were kind of able to fix that and keep on going. But I'm hoping not to have that issue with this particular bike on this particular trip. So that my expectation, or at least the desire, would to not be having any issues with that. So those are pieces that I'm expecting. I don't know, I've never done 1,000 miles, so I don't have an expectation of exactly how I'm going to feel, how my body's going to feel. I think a lot of that will be weather dependent. You know, the route that I'm taking doesn't have crazy traffic, particularly if I can get out of New England at the time frame that I'm planning on doing it. So part of it is I want to be fresh. I'm used to kind of getting up pretty early and I want to be on the road. And so I don't think, as far as like the length of day, I'm not terribly concerned about that, but you know, we'll have to see. I'm also pretty decent at cat naps. So if I need to take a nap somewhere, I expect that won't be a problem, and that will actually be quite refreshing, and I'll be back on the road, back traveling as well. So my other expectation is I'm coming through Charlotte and Greenville towards the end of the trip. So traffic there can be kind of unpleasant on both of those. I am hopeful that it won't be terrible, but I'm kind of expecting that, depends on the time that I'm getting in, that might just slow things down a little bit. And there's nothing else I can do except for, by the time I get there, rush hour is over. But that is the other piece that I currently expect based on the time frame that I've set out. So anyway, those are my expectations, and we'll see how accurate they turn out to be.